Good day. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to my sessions on leadership for everyone, everywhere. I am your host, Emeritus Professor Stephen Adei. We have gone through already 9 episodes which focused on self-leadership. The 9th one tried to link moving from leadership to management of oneself. Of course, leadership and management are 2 poles of a continuum, but there's a world of difference between the two. While management is looking at the nitty-gritties, making sure there's efficiency and systems are in place, the leadership looks a bit more at the broader level of one's mission, one's vision, strategies, and goals. But if you don't anchor, as we said in episode 9, your leadership in sound personal management or managing yourself, you will be strictly living in a dreamland. And I've seen many people who have wonderful plans to change the whole world. When we were doing economics, there was one thing we used to joke at as one person proposing to air condition Los Angeles. But of course, he died with Los Angeles still hot in summer. Because leadership must be anchored and turned into almost a culture through management. We will be looking at managing yourself. We will start today with managing your private, personal life. And I will be following a booklet of mine called Managing Your Private Life, largely. Under it, I will be looking at managing your physical life, the body. Then we will look at managing your intellectual life. And then we would have a snappy, not all in this episode, one on managing your finances. We would then, if we don't finish today, we'll do it in 2 episodes. Then we will look at managing your professional life or work life. We will look at managing your love life, whether you are single or married or widowed. Then we will look at managing your relational life with respect to your marriage, which is largely covered in the love life. But we are also going to add your friendships, your family, extended family, and nuclear, your neighbors, your church community, even your professional place is a community in addition to the work you do, and managing those relationships. And lastly, we will look at managing your spiritual life. Of course, in doing so, they must all derive their sense, their spirit, and their motivation from your overall mission, vision, strategies that is leading oneself. So let me kick off with managing your physical life. Often, especially people who are religiously inclined, tend to downplay the body, the physique, but they do so at a heavy cost. Let me say that who smiles that he's having a headache or a toothache or stomach upset? No matter how religious you are and how stoic or brave you are, when these things hit you, you find that your total system is disorganized and you have to do something about it. The good news is that with a little bit of intentionality, managing your physical life comes easy. And it's not the quantum physics type of activities that we need to do. except that if you don't do them, the cost can be gargantuan, even early death. It doesn't mean that people who die early, they didn't keep themselves well. I've been thinking of late about God saying he has limited our lifespan to a maximum of 120. And when you hear about prostate cancer, breast cancer, liver, all sorts of non-communicable diseases and the rest, it seems there's a fuse in us. Almost few go beyond 80. And so far, the oldest person on earth is 116 years, I read not too long ago. So we are not talking about going to here, living here forever. If you are a Christian, your home is to be with Jesus for eternity if you have been washed in his blood. However, your existence here can be much more enjoyable, improved, and avoid unnecessary sicknesses if you manage your body well. And that's what I'm going to share. I call them Adei principles, Adei's health principles. Why do I Adei means? That's how my friends and my villagers call me. They don't bother about you or professor and anything else. So, and these are things I've gleaned, not as an expert. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a medical doctor. So, I'm not talking to you as a medical expert or physical training expert, but things I've gleaned over life from the literature, from talking to the experts, as basic in keeping your health well. So I've called it principles of keeping the body healthy. And the first is laughter is the best medicine. I got it from, actually, that's not original to me, Daily Digest had a column, Reader's Digest, not Daily, sorry. Reader's Digest had a column called, which gives you, laughter is the best medicine. And there they just accumulate and share some humorous things. But by my adopting laughter as the best medicine as number one, is basically saying that you don't have to take yourself too seriously. Oh, you know me, yes. Then every slight is an offense. You are on edge. No. Just learn to laugh at yourself. Not that you don't respect yourself, but please, you might be Emeritus Professor, but where did you come from? You came from Shiramwasi, and in any case, the difference between you and the ordinary person in 90% of the cases is the same. Learn to laugh at yourself. If you see the humorous side of life, you are likely to enjoy life better, and I'm reading largely from my notes, and a healthier one as such. But please, don't laugh at others. You are going to get trouble, enemies, and eventually you may get a few slaps. I'm talking about laughing at yourself, because other people can be terribly offended even if a joke is misunderstood. Of course, with your pals and as friends, you can have a ball of laughter whenever and wherever you meet them. The best medicine, however, is learning to laugh at yourself, seeing the lighter side of your mistakes and inabilities, especially when others think you are great. As President Truman's friend told him when he says that, Mr. Truman, now you have been elected a president, everybody will say you are great, but I and you know you ain't. American way to say that you don't. You will be better off to learn the humorous side of life, enjoy laughing at yourself. I do enjoy laughing at myself. I snore, so I tell people that, I have a symphony in the night. Except that when my wife says you snore, I said, look, I can swear on it because I've never heard myself snore. And I cannot be a false witness to myself. And we will laugh our heads out. I barely qualified for university. Had to repeat English as a private student. Went to Second World War, got an E in economics A level. Hey, Charlie, if you become a professor of economics, it isn't a bad achievement. So you become, now that I am Professor Emeritus, I've gotten a name for it. It's Tree for, I have a tree version, Professor Awayemre. Learn to thank God for the good things of life and don't take yourself. My children, for example, we have a ball. They tell me, oh, Dad, we thank our mother. I say, for what? They say, for improving our looks. But we say that if it were me, they would have been as ugly as me. And we laugh. Learn to take life easy. Laugh with others. Laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself seriously. As we say in Ghana, don't let your laughter be contagious. Step 2, I would say, and it's closely related to the first, is learn to manage stress. Oftentimes, as me and my friend used to say, work does not kill you. It's your attitude. Stress, getting angry about nothing. The Bible says, let not the sun go down your anger. Some people can be angry even with their spouse for years. Sad to say, some have even murdered them. No. Learn to manage stress. Use your diary well. You make sure you don't overcommit. You do things well, but not. And if you take life easy, look at the lighter side, you are not likely to have much stress. Stress is often a matter of one's attitude, an internal response to external stimulus or stimuli, which does not appear favorable to you. There are certain things, of course, you can do to reduce stress. Better management with your diary so that you don't commit yourself. But above all else, I have found that people of faith generally don't have much problem with stress because they can always go to God. As Philippians 4:4-7 says, rejoice in the Lord always, from the NIV. Again, I say rejoice. Have no anxiety about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Have faith in God. You won't believe it. In addition to saving your soul, it is one of the best anti-stress. So it is important. In fact, when I was penning some of these, the notes which became the content of this booklet, we were in COVID-19. In fact, it was 10th April 2020. You couldn't even go to service. However, I was so encouraged. The first Sunday on TV, there was a wonderful, one of the best sermons I've heard by the Presbyterian moderator, then Reverend Joy Manti. It could have been stressful when Sunday you wake up and then you can't go to church. But God was on the throne. Again, our school, Ghana Christian International High School, was closed during the pandemic. And we had to manage online education Yes, nobody is exempt from stress. If you lose your job, your spouse, and you are broke, these can be stressful moments. So it's not a question of a stress-free life. It must be boring if nothing ever stresses you. You must be a wood or a stone. But Christians have a way of sharing their burdens. Cast your burdens on the Lord, and He will take care of you. So it's not a question of stress-free living, but reducing the sources of stress and then managing it. All I'm saying is that managing stress does not mean having no stressful moments. Anyway, God has given us adrenaline, which helps us to manage stress and also do some extraordinary things. But if you continue to be stressful continuously, you reduce your lifespan. I mention this because stress is not something which is often overlooked. The third, and I'm going to go faster, is have a good diet. And soon you will enjoy it. A diet which has sufficient protein, vegetables, you have with vitamins and things of that. It's said that the fork and knife are the greatest weapons in people killing themselves. If you are Ghanaian, we say the 5 fingers. So the third step, if possible, let your meal be such that fruits and vegetables constitute 25 to 50% of your meals. Reduce carbohydrates to the barest minimum. This is something, of course, we Ghanaians struggle with our banku and our fufu and our pesi and our kwele and our TZ. Especially when I was younger, I used to say that my tongue is my nutrition advisor. That is youthful foolishness. You must eat carefully. There must be sufficient protein in it, and a balanced diet. Just consulting a dietitian will save you sometimes years of life. Many people, especially the youth, don't want to bother about what they eat. They are prone to think they can feed on fast food, fizzy drinks, and get away with it. But let me tell you, your sin will find you out. Let me share what I learned when I was with the UNDP in New York from one of my lady colleagues. He says that especially Africans who love our carbohydrates, please, before meal, 30 minutes, you can eat fruits, bananas to the full. Then by the 30 minutes, bananas will digest quicker. They'll go down. You can then eat your usual food, but you cannot eat much. And that alone may help you. But whatever you do, please do it joyfully. For example, I like my vitamin C effervescent because it's nicer. It replaces many orange drinks and the rest, and it's healthier. We will continue with managing your physical life and go faster, having introduced it from the fourth, that is religiously and faithfully doing your medical checkups. Please, every Saturday, 8:30 a.m., you meet me on ZFM 101.9. If you miss it, go to Professor Emeritus Stephen Adei YouTube site, and you will you see a posting there of the same story. Thank you, and may God bless you.